He was very loving. Everybody, if anybody could help, he would try to help.
He had a big heart and he was friendly, even keeled. He was security for a lot of the clubs, a lot of the big parties. Very nice guy. Not a temper. He stopped a lot of confrontations.
In the early hours of July 19, 2025, a chilling discovery of a 53-year-old man found dead in his home would send waves of shock through a small community. At around 1:45 a.m., officers rushed to a home on the 13,200 block of Old Chapel Road after receiving a distressing call about a shooting. What they found upon arrival was nothing short of horrifying. A 53-year-old man, lifeless, with a gunshot wound to his head. But the most unsettling detail, the woman who pulled the trigger, his own wife, was still there, standing over his body. In an argument that escalated violently, she shot and killed her husband instantly after discovering shocking messages in his second phone. But what was more tragic was what happened next. This tragedy brings to mind another heartbreaking story we've covered about a wife who...
Oh, me, bro! Sit down! Get your hands on me, bro!
Okay, Jeremy, what is the conversation you want to have?
We good.
Yeah, and your baby in the room?
We good. Give me my phone, bro. Don't shut
What is the conversation you want to have?
What the conversation?
Get out my
He said,
phone.
what's the
Don't touch
conversation?
me. Don't touch me. I'll call the police over there. Do not touch me.
He said, what's the conversation y'all want to have?
Good.
Ain't nobody been come over here and do nothing.
Get your hands on me, bro. Stop touching me. Move.
Need to stop.
Send it on me, Joe.
Ain't nobody coming over here.
If you missed it, that story is linked at the end. It's eerily familiar. Now, let's look at the life and death of Damen Ward.
They definitely need to do something because it's getting crazy. It's getting crazy.
53-year-old Damen Ward was a beloved figure in his community, known for his kind heart and his dedication as a security guard at local clubs and events. With his imposing frame and warm smile, he was described by friends as a big, friendly guy with an even bigger heart. Whether managing rowdy crowds or simply offering a calming presence, Damen was always the one people turned to when things threatened to get out of control. He was the steady force in an often chaotic environment, always diffusing conflicts with his quiet authority. His reputation as a peacekeeper was unmatched, and his colleagues could never recall a time when he'd ever had a serious disagreement with anyone. But at home, something else was more important. His relationship was with his wife, 50-year-old Nicole Lanett Ward. Their bond was a deep and enduring one, built on mutual respect, trust, and love. They were the kind of couple that could be seen laughing together at family gatherings or quietly sharing a cup of coffee in the mornings before a busy day began. Damen often spoke with affection about Nicole, and his friends described their relationship as rock solid. They supported each other through life's challenges, whether it was managing work, raising kids, or simply navigating the ups and downs of daily life. Damen's devotion to Nicole was clear in the way he spoke of her. He would always mention how much he admired her strength and how they had weathered difficult times together. Nicole, for her part, was equally devoted, proud of the life they had built together. It seemed like their love story was one of those rare, perfect unions. But as we've come to know, not everything is as it seems. Damen worked tirelessly to provide for his family, and he was known for his quiet demeanor, traits that made him well liked by all who crossed his path. He cherished his role as a father and was deeply involved in the lives of his children. From the outside looking in, Damen had it all: a stable career, a loving family, and a home filled with warmth and support. But little did anyone know, things were about to unravel in the most unexpected way. It was the early hours of July 19, 2025. A quiet life of Damen and Nicole Ward took a horrific turn. The peaceful atmosphere of their home on Old Chapel Road was shattered in an instant. That morning, Nicole had made a discovery that would unravel everything. While going through Damien's second phone, something caught her eye. A series of photos and messages that unmistakably revealed her husband's infidelity. The evidence was glaring, and the anger that flooded through her was overwhelming. For days, the trust they had built together had been questionable, but now, the truth was undeniable. This sparked a confrontation neither of them could have prepared for. What followed was a heated confrontation between the couple, one that escalated quickly from words to fury. Nicole, consumed by a mix of rage and heartbreak, demanded that Damien leave their home. The years of shared history and love seemed to vanish in an instant as the argument spiraled out of control. But this was only the beginning. In a moment of blind anger, Nicole made a chilling decision. She had a .357 Magnum revolver in her possession, and in her grief-stricken rage, she pulled the trigger and shot Damien instantly in the head. The violence behind closed doors would soon be heard throughout the quiet neighborhood. Neighbors who had once seen the couple as the picture of peace and stability would be left in shock.
No, I've never seen him in an argument with a young lady.
So this comes as a complete surprise.
Complete surprise and utter disgust at what has happened, and sadness and shock.
How could the seemingly perfect couple so admired in the community have been torn apart by such a devastating act? What no one knew was this tragedy was just the beginning. The police were called to the scene, and upon arriving, they found Damien's lifeless body in the bedroom, surrounded by the aftermath of a violent struggle. The authorities were quick to secure the area, and Nicole was arrested without incident.
And in Prince George's County tonight, he was a husband and a father shot and killed in his home. Now his wife is being held without bond tonight on murder charges.
And Fox 5's Shamari Stone joins us live from Bowie with more on this story. Hi, Show.
Hey, Angie and Jim. Well, this tight-knit community here in Bowie is in total shock tonight. People heard about what happened over the weekend, but there were some rumors circulating. They didn't have the details until tonight when I explained to them what was in the court documents, and many of them are in total shock because they say that Damen Ward and his wife, Nicole Ward, seemed happily married, that they were a great couple, great neighbors, and what happened here inside their home this past weekend is stunning. Tonight, Prince George's County Police telling me 50-year-old Nicole Ward, shown in this arrest photo, shot her husband, 53-year-old Damen Ward, in the head, killing him inside their bedroom on Old Chapel Road in Bowie. According to these charging documents, it begins when the couple has a verbal argument early Saturday morning, after Nicole Ward allegedly told police that she looked in Damien's second phone and found photos and messages indicating that Damien was having an extramarital affair with another woman. Nicole Ward allegedly told him to pack his bags and leave the house. The couple continued arguing, and then moments later, that's when police say she pulled out her .357 S&B Magnum revolver, shooting and killing him. Tonight, Damen Ward's friends describe him as a big, friendly guy with an even bigger heart. Now, tonight, Nicole Ward is charged with first and second degree murder. The neighbors I talked to are just really sad, especially because this married couple has a young daughter. In Bowie, I'm Shamari Stone. Back to you.
As they pieced together the events, the police discovered that the couple's argument, which began over the affair, quickly escalated into a deadly confrontation. In the days that followed, Prince George's County Police revealed that Nicole was charged with first-degree murder for killing her husband. Despite her actions, she showed no signs of fleeing the scene, and it was reported that she cooperated with the police during her arrest. Still, this didn't make it any less shocking to the community. As the investigation unfolded, detectives began piecing together the history between the couple. Damien's friends, who had spoken to the media, described how the couple was generally seen as the ideal match. This was a shock, especially considering how friendly and well-liked they were in their neighborhood. The couple had no public signs of issues or violence, at least not in front of others. The violent act left many searching for an answer to why it had happened.
Wow, I'm just shocked, very, very shocked.
Further investigation revealed the affair as the catalyst for the tragedy, but what led Nicole to such a drastic step? But the search revealed disturbing details in the moments leading up to the death. Initially, the police were faced with a seemingly straightforward case. Nicole had confessed to shooting Damien in the heat of an argument. However, as the investigation deepened, law enforcement uncovered key pieces of evidence. Nicole's emotional state, the tension between the couple, and the discovery of Damien's extramarital affair all became crucial factors in understanding the motive behind the crime. One of the most telling revelations came from the phone records and messages found on Damien's second phone. These messages, which were discovered by Nicole before the fatal confrontation, confirmed that he had been in a secret relationship with another woman. The affair had been going on for some time, and it seemed to have been the catalyst that set off the deadly argument. Nicole had been devastated by this betrayal and, in her emotional turmoil, confronted Damien in what would have become their final interaction. To many, the idea of a woman killing her husband over an affair may seem extreme. However, the truth behind her actions would soon come to light. As investigators continued to probe Nicole's background and relationship history, they began to understand that this wasn't just a case of jealousy gone wrong. It was the culmination of years of emotional strain and unresolved issues. Reports revealed that Nicole had a history of mental health struggles, and her emotions often fluctuating based on the state of her relationship with Damien. This was compounded by financial stress, as Nicole was the primary breadwinner of the household, while Damien struggled to maintain stable employment. The strain from Damien's affair was the tipping point in what had been a long-standing issue in their marriage. For months, there had been tension between the couple. Friends and family reported that Nicole had confided in them about their suspicions of Damien's infidelity. She had often felt unsupported and overwhelmed, even though Damien had promised to change. The affair, which had been discovered just hours before the shooting, was the final blow to a relationship that had been slowly unraveling for years. But the legal process would take its course. In the days that followed, the legal teams began to assess Nicole's mental state, trying to determine whether she could face a murder charge or whether it would be more appropriate to charge her with something lesser, such as voluntary manslaughter. Her defense attorneys made the argument that the shooting was an act of passion, a crime of emotional distress. They painted the scene as one where a woman, overwhelmed by betrayal and hurt, made a rash decision in the heat of the moment. They sought to explain Nicole's actions as a consequence of the years of emotional turmoil in her marriage. The prosecution, on the other hand, argued that the premeditated nature of the murder indicated that Nicole had been planning this for some time. The fact that she went to the extent of pulling out a firearm during a heated argument made it clear to them that the crime wasn't simply the result of a spontaneous emotional outburst, but of long-standing issues and unresolved anger. As the days passed and the legal process continues, the impact of the Bowie community was one of sadness and shock. Nicole, who had been a part of this tight-knit community for many years, was now seen as a woman who had turned on the one person who had supported her through thick and thin. For those who had seen the couple at their best, the idea that such an awful act of violence could occur left them questioning everything they knew about the Ward family. Friends and family, who had once seen Nicole and Damien as the picture of marital success, were now grappling with the reality of the situation. They mourned the loss of Damien, who had been a beloved figure in their lives, and they sympathized with Nicole, knowing that her actions, though extreme, were the result of a painful and difficult marriage. In the wake of the tragedy, many in the community spoke about the need for greater support for those experiencing domestic struggles, particularly when it came to emotional and mental health.
You know, domestic violence, particularly as it relates to intimate partner violence between two people, can be very tricky. Look, love is a complicating factor, and oftentimes when people enter into these relationships, things seem very idyllic until maybe something doesn't feel right and something feels awry. And that might look like, subtle verbal attacks, isolating them, jealousy, looking at your phone. These are not signs of a healthy relationship. These are signs that your relationship may lead to domestic violence. And by domestic violence, we often relate it or equate it to the physical forms of violence, which is absolutely what we know. But there's also signs of emotional abuse, financial abuse, taking away, the finances, putting people down. At the core of domestic violence, we are looking at the power and control of one person over another, and we see that often.
The case highlighted the dangers of unchecked emotional turmoil and the devastating consequences it can have when individuals feel isolated and unable to address their problems. The story of Damen and Nicole Ward is a heart-wrenching example of how unresolved personal issues can lead to tragic outcomes. It's also a stark reminder that domestic violence comes in many forms, and it can escalate without warning. There are always signs, whether subtle or overt, and when left unaddressed, these issues can result in irreversible harm. What do you think about this? Let us know what you think in the comments below, and if you found this story intriguing, please like, share, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this.